Then the massive Sangha offering for World Protection Day for 30,000 temples. And now this year they're going to do a Kathan ceremony, not a massive Sangha offering for Luangpur's 82nd birthday for 40,000 temples. All of this, if they can do it, go ahead. But the problem isn't whether it's feasible or not. The problem is whether the intention behind initiating these new projects is good or bad. When monks speak about policies, they believe they are from Luangpur Dhammachayo. In reality, they are doing the same things as when Luangpur Dhammachayo was still alive. The bidding, the gatherings, the seminars, the off-site presentations, the project discussions, they do it with pure intentions, believing they are doing it for Luangpur Dhammachayo. They are deluded into thinking, oh, it's being accepted now. Before, it was very difficult. But they lacked the wisdom to consider why it was difficult then and why it's so smooth now. If people weren't sharing the benefits, would they allow them to continuously undertake such large-scale projects? In 2016, we saw that Luangpur Dhammachayo planned to hold a mass alms-giving ceremony with 100,000 monks in Ubon Ratchathani, but people in uniform vandalized the signs and created obstacles, preventing him from doing it. So he had to hold the ceremony at the Maha Dhammakaya Chetty instead on his birthday. This clearly shows that the higher powers, the purple faction, disapprove because they haven't received the emotional and financial gratification they desire, leading to constant conflict and the use of power and influence. But Luangpur Dhammachayo doesn't think about that. He only thinks about doing everything to create merit for his disciples because human life is short. And he must strive to reach the ultimate attainment of Dharma. So it led him to not get involved in any conflicts with anyone. He only knew that if he couldn't give it, he couldn't. Giving it away would be a great sin, so he couldn't. But after that, who gave it? Who took it? It was 06. Because, as the previous message stated, the New Faith group clearly said that 06 himself said it, which means 06 created the story that he had negotiated with 01, which didn't actually happen. He deceived the temple committee into believing it was true, and then tricked the purple-clad higher-ups into believing that the negotiations were successful and that Luangpur Dhammachayo had agreed to hand over the temple and its branches, and also agreed to share 70% of the donations. Therefore, it became a matter of 06 alone telling everything that wasn't true. If the purple-clad higher-ups didn't know the truth and believed everything 06 said, the purple-clad higher-ups would unknowingly incur sin. And who would tell them that they were being deceived and falsely accused? And 06 dared to do this if he didn't have a very powerful Islamic backer or a lot of financial resources. And if it wasn't because that Islamic group was the same one supporting the purple-clad higher-ups. The purple-clad higher-ups probably wouldn't believe it. Wouldn't believe that 06 could actually do it. But since 06 said so much, and is also a Muslim, it seems like they're collaborating on an Islamic policy to seize control of Buddhism. Specifically Wat Phra Dhammakaya. Once they've eliminated and persecuted 01, or Luangpur Dhammachayo, from all power, which they have already done, the only thing left is meditation, which they dare not risk. If there's no guided meditation, no voice of Luangpur Dhammachayo as before, the donors and benefactors won't come to the temple anymore. Therefore, they need to keep the donors and benefactors believing in Luangpur's presence. Once they believe in Luangpur, any fundraising effort has to be made to convince them of his presence. Even resorting to impersonators to gain the believable support. Everything is for their own benefit. This is highlighting how every new project claims to be from Luangpur Dhammachayo, who doesn't actually exist. They use deceptive tactics, writing new messages mimicking old ones to make devotees believe they are genuinely from him. But they didn't mention names for fear of legal repercussions, which is completely untrue. The case against Luangpur was closed in October 2023. But Luangpur Tatachivo didn't go to close it himself. By not closing the case, he left it pending to prevent Luangpur Damacheo from being released. He can't return no matter where he goes. He's not allowed to have the power to command anyone again, no matter how much his disciples love him. Then, when the Kyangtawan page provided information about dreams and other things related to the Dhammakaya teachings of Luangpur Damacheo, through genuine sources, it came in many forms, revealing those behind this are increasingly using the temple to benefit Islam and are preparing to take over the entire temple for Islamic purposes. They are exploiting money from new projects that deceive the temple staff, using them for large-scale operations. The temple staff believe everything is the same as when Luangpur Damacheo was present, except that he is not visible. However, when he occasionally releases sermons or new messages, it creates the impression that it is genuine, and the practice continues. This is where the problem lies. The opposing side, or the Islamic faction, benefits from using Luangpur Damachayo's name for these activities. It becomes a situation where both people and money go to them. But the real suffering of Luangpur Damacheo is his followers, who are forced to participate in new charitable projects that don't originate from him. These are new policies and initiatives. But Luangpur is not actually involved. They are lies. The idea comes from individuals who are not actually Luangpur Damacheo, deceiving people into believing it's for him. Lying is a sin, especially when the initial intention is to lie. The intention is to entice people to participate because 70% of the assets must be divided according to Agreement 06. They claim that Luangpur, abbot, agreed to give 70% to the higher powers, in purple. Therefore, it's a deliberate creation of a new project to dividing the donations by 70% through lies, turning it into a sinful act. Even though the activities are all meritorious, Sangha Dana, offering to monks, Fa Pa, forest offering, Kathan, Buddhist robe offering, all are meritorious acts. The intention is to give 70% to the higher powers. What will the higher powers do with that 70%? For example, if they receive 70%, 700 million baht, out of a billion. What do you think they will do with it? If they use it for meritorious work, then they gain merit. But the reason for this new project is a sinful intention. A sinful intention from lying to embezzle donations without consent. If they had spoken directly, announcing to the devotees that 70% of the donation assets would be given to the higher powers, in purple, and that Luangpur Damacheo had agreed, and if people believed and accepted, wouldn't that be the end of it? That's where it ends. If they do it this way, transparency is not a sin. When it's not a sin, it can be considered a meritorious project. But it turns out they didn't tell the truth. They lied from the start, wanting to take the money without the donors knowing. That becomes a sin. Even though legally it says that donations cannot be taken back, in terms of karma, it has significant consequences. It's like you deceived them from the beginning. It's not that you asked them to do merit, like the usual Kathina ceremony, and then you secretly took the money from behind the house. That's meritorious work, but stealing money from behind the house is sinful. Here, the intention from the start was to take 70% of the money. The act of lying violates the fourth and second precepts of Buddhism. It's a sin from the beginning. When this sinful project starts, it's what's called a blueprint for the dark side. What was once a meritorious act, a white side, is transformed into a black side, completely mimicking the white side. Those who enter the black side don't know it's black, but in a deeper sense they do. Even if your heart doesn't know, if you enter the black side, you will be released. The merit you possess is completely discarded. You have thrown away all your merit. Only then can you acquire the dark side of karma, because when you work in the dark realm, the merit you accumulate is replaced by dark sin, and this dark sin replaces white. They don't cancel each other out, they substitute. You discard white and embrace black. Every time you undertake a new project that is sinful, it will always be dark. Those who participate will discard all their merit, whether much or little, and embrace the dark side entirely. This is what deeply saddened Luangpur Dhamacaya and led him to seek ways to inform his disciples that he has not been present at the temple since 2019. And most recently, he also stated that he is no longer Phra Dhamacaya since 2020, after the completion of the Dhamma Yatra project. That is, after January 31, 2020, he disrobed. After disrobing, he became a monk because his Dhammakaya remains steadfast and unwavering, a supreme being. A supreme being is someone who sees the Dhammakaya as the Dhammakaya 24 hours a day. Even when their physical body is no longer wearing the monk's robes. Although he is a layman, he still possesses the qualities of a monk, the knowledge of the Dhammakaya meditation technique, and expertise in it. The essence of being a monk remains within him. Those who understand this will continue to respect and revere him. However, he doesn't mind if those who don't understand choose not to revere him. He doesn't demand it. He wants them to understand correctly that he is no longer Phra Dhamacaya. Therefore, since February 2020, there is no longer a person named Phra Dhamacaya. There is no longer a true Luangpur Dhamacaya. So, any acts of worship should be done in remembrance of his aspirations. This can be done at Wat Dhammakaya. If his disciples or other monks wish to follow the policies and guidelines that Luangpur Dhamacaya once laid out, they can do so with that intention. And it will be meritorious. Therefore, many projects initiated by Luangpur, when continued, still generate merit. For example, the Dhamma pilgrimage that we see still generates merit. Even though there may be interference in the process involving money, property, and other assets. There was a change of hands, a change in operations, embezzlement, who benefited from it. Where it went, how it was divided, it's a matter of sin committed later, but the initial intention was still virtuous from the beginning. Therefore, the merit in this aspect still exists. Therefore, the merit of offering rice to the Buddha every month still exists. However, any merit gained from activities conducted in Glass Room 2 is not considered merit. This is because Glass Room 2 contains a main Buddha statue with black hair, which the temple people have been deceived into believing is the latest type of Buddha statue commissioned by Luangpur Dhamacaya. Luangpur did not commission this, and even if he did, he would never create such a statue. That type of statue aligns with the subtle aspects of the dark side of Dhammakaya, which people don't understand because Dhammakaya has three aspects: white, gray, and black. Therefore, in the subtle realm, if someone's practice hasn't reached the Buddha within themselves, hasn't become a Dhammakaya practitioner 100%, 24/7, they won't see the three aspects of the Buddha. It's hard to believe, but it exists. Because only some people know this, it's difficult to convince them. But the truth is, it exists. So, those who believe in the Dhammakaya teachings and the practice of Dhamma will believe in this knowledge. But why believe? To enable themselves to survive in accumulating merit. When Luangpur's disciples are merit makers, they must be aware of these subtle aspects and quickly practice to reach that subtle realm. Only when you truly see the subtle realm will you. It's hard to believe that what you're seeing is either merit or sin. But in summary, the point is that when people tried to ask Luangpur Tatachivo for the truth on three issues: 1. Is Luangpur Dhamacaya present at the temple? 2. The prosecutor dropped the charges against Luangpur Damacheo. Is Luangpur Tatachivo truly not closing the case for him?